use Hank Aaron, it's going to go a little differently than everyone else. And Hank Aaron will share with Jay. And then Mark Shapiro interrupts Katz and goes, I don't want to hear it. You remember this?
That's right. Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. Joe Sixpack doesn't want to care about, he doesn't care. He doesn't want to hear about Hank Aaron. And I go, how do you know about Joe Sixpack? He goes, I am Joe Sixpack. And then I say, and this is when the show ended.
Oh, this guy was
We are
insufferable.
11 minutes in. I go, you're Joe Sixpack. You're wearing a suit with fucking shoulder pads.
That was, it's so funny
was
that you
the
say
sentence.
that. That was always what I hated about the fucking guy. He was the worst. He wore the worst suits on the net. I'm telling you something. Always had shoulder
Not
pads.
the fact that
but
40 people lost jobs that did their jobs exceptionally
yeah, I
well.
hated that too,
Casey
but the
Anderson,
shoulder pads.
Ralphie May, Bob Morton, Jay Moore. No, it was the
I'd
shoulder
say-
pads. That's what bothered me.
Yeah, I'd say it was a pretty good group. It was a real good group.
So it went south that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And they moved us. I went back and counted. We had 16 time slots in 25 shows.
Man.
Now, I'm no math major, but that's more than 2 times.
No promotion.
I was on a bus.
No.
I was on the side of the building.
Side of the
down by
bus.
Staples.
That's right.
That was cool. And I had a couple. No.
They did it for a week. Yeah.
And they made coasters for the ESPN Zone. Do you remember
right.
that? People
Yeah.
put their beers on my face. Like, it's going to be a big hit.
It was a good logo.
Everyone's putting beer on your face. It would be like if you made out with somebody really drunk on beer. Like, that's what it's like. They put the beer on your face.
He has, I'd say probably 2 months after that meeting, he calls me and he wants to have breakfast with me. I told you this. And he sits down at the breakfast and he goes, look, he goes, you know this town. He goes, you hook me up with the right people in this town, I'll take care of you. That bluntly. Hook me up with the right people in this town, I'll take care of you. And it's like, what? This fucking,
What do you
you
mean?
wear shoulder pads. I can't hook you up with any of the right people. Come
You
on.
know, like with showrunners?
No, he wanted me to introduce him to agents and managers that I, network people that I've worked with, and I'll take good care of you. All about himself. All just him
take care
climbing
of
the
you
ladder.
within ESPN?
Huh? No. That I'll move up the ladder. I'll give you whatever you want. I mean, seriously, like, quid pro quo.
One thing we were blessed with on Mohr Sports, and you'll agree with, and it's so rare, is autonomy.
Yeah.
They left us alone.
Yeah.
Until they didn't leave us alone. And I remember we had Slayer on with Sugar Ray Leonard. Do you remember this?
Help me.
The opening sketch.
I don't remember shit.
The opening sketch was Slayer, but the baseball strike had gone down and there was another holdout.
Right.
Something was going on. And I said, we got a great show, Sugar Ray. And Slayer, by the way, is, you might not think it listening, but I know the morons out there, they know. Slayer is a fucking monster booking. Like, it is someone like, you don't really know what's happening, and then like, if Twitter was alive then, Twitter would have fucking broke when Slayer was on Mohr Sports.
Remember our booker was the head of talent at NBC now.
Joy is?
No, Labella. Chuck Labella.
Oh, good.
Chuck Labella.
He, Did you ever sell? Listen, here's the thing. Slayer's on, and we do a sketch where I go, Sugar Ray Leonard is here, and also Slayer will be joining us. I think they're here now. Are they here? Morty, are they here? Like, now I'm Letterman saying Morty. Like, I'm in heaven. And we cut the Slayer in their dressing room, and they have this is the sketch. I think KP wrote it, or John Moore wrote, I don't know. There's a pentagram with Bud Selig's face in the middle, and Slayer are on their knees covered in fucking blood.
That was brilliant. I don't remember that.
Selig. And they're like really acting it out, like their eyes are rolling back in their head. And then when we would edit the show, you, me, KP, and Barry, we would sit and we would edit the show to time, like the monologue had to be, and Milton Lage, our lovely, awesome, beautiful director.
Yep.
And we would edit it, and then we would send. This is weird shit to me, listeners. So hang in there because it's a weird process. You sit in an edit room and you edit the monologue. Some shit would bomb. You take it out, obviously, and you edit it down to like the funniest 8 minutes. And Morty, nominated for 9 Emmys, kind of knows comedy, and Milton knows comedy. I'm a comic. Barry's a manager of comedians. KP is a comic. So it's a room of people that know comedy and an editor. Okay. We send the show. This is where it gets weird.
Oh,
I don't know how you
God.
guys do this. We send the show to a satellite.
Right.
Because ESPN only has one satellite. So if you're watching SportsCenter at 7 on the East Coast, it's 4 on the West Coast. They can't do 2 different shows per time zone, like how ABC,
Right.
you can watch Ugly Betty at 8 and then again at 8 on the West Coast. Everything's simultaneous. There's only one satellite for ESPN. And at the time it was a problem because there was a hard out to get the show into the satellite.
Oh, God.
Okay, remember this?
And we wanted to keep it topical, so we did it, with a short turnaround.
Like we would do it Monday and it would air Tuesday at like 9 o'clock at night in its original form. And then we got a call. Morty.
Not funny.
It's Mark Shapiro. You got to take out the Slayer sketch. We're like, why? It's not funny.
Not funny.
It's just not funny. And I remember I'll never forget this. We were all sitting there when the call happened and you go, well, I'm in a room with people that do funny for a living and they all think it's fucking funny. I don't know what to tell you. And it was like diplomatic, but also you going, you got to back the fuck off. It was, I really learned like, this is how the big boys swing their dicks. Cause you were nice to them. You go, well, I'm in a room with people that do funny for a living. They don't think it's like you took yourself, like, hey, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I'm in a room with people who do funny for a living. And I remember we negotiated that sketch down. It aired, but they couldn't have blood on them.
Was that it?
So now the sketch is in, and it's Slayer. So we had to ask Slayer to reshoot it.
Without the blood.
And they were like, and now you got members of Slayer. Like, but the blood was funny, man. We're like, we know the blood was funny. So now it's ceiling. And then the final straw was I would rush home to watch the show. And the monologue that you and me edited with KP wasn't the monologue that was on TV. So we would have to put it in the satellite. They asked us
they could edit.
Right. They asked us to put it in the satellite early because we're really jammed up over here. But they wanted it early because they would edit the monologue they wanted.
Shapiro would actually edit it. I remember that.
Yes, and awful shit made it out. And then that once you have someone not in comedy editing comedy, that's the
that's a problem with in all honesty, that's a problem with all of these talk shows that come around to whatever network buys late night shows. If you don't have the culture of that kind of programming and how to nurture and how to support those shows, you're not going to get a hit. And I mean I've seen it 1,000 times where networks just don't know. You got to leave them alone. You got to let them do it. If it's going to work, it works. If not, not. But give it time and give it space.
How did the George Lopez show not work? With a Latin show for a Latin audience. On a basic cable channel, it seems hand in glove.
I would have thought. I think when TBS put Conan in there, it kind of threw us a bit.
But that doesn't make Mexicans not watch George Lopez.
Yeah, but it was on an hour later. I think
Mexicans love it later.
Yeah, but then again, the Mexicans aren't sitting through Conan, are they? I don't know. He's got a very big Mexican audience.
Mijo, put it on TBS. Conan is on. I love him. I love him, mijo. Don't talk bad about Conan.
I like how he's got a little Indian in him, too.
I know. Busted. That's my Mexican Indian.
Mexican Indian.
Put the fucking Conan. Put it on Kick-Out 9. The liquors are coming on, mijo.
But, hey, Lopez,
he is a fucking monster talent.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He is one of the most extraordinary comics. And he might not be your cup of tea. But as far as a guy that can go on HBO and fill in an arena and do an hour like how Carlin used to do it every,
Yep.
He makes me laugh, bro.
Yeah, no, watching him do a monologue every night, it reminded me, I always used to say about Letterman that it was like golf, you'd hit a shitty shot and you're coming back on the 18th hole. Yeah, I'm coming back then another time to play. It was like Letterman. You'd see one thing that he did on a show and you go, holy shit, I'm coming back here tomorrow to do this. 17, 14, 15 years, however many years later, it's like you're at the same job because the wonder, the amazing things that this guy did on stage. And Lopez was the same way. Lopez would do things in a monologue. He'd go in and the audience would be for shit. And
it was like teenage girls. It was like Gucci Mom. Yep. It was like Quincenteras.
Yep. And he would work that crowd and bring them up, and it was always amazing. He was great at it.
Now, was that show being canceled? Was it just because of the rating?
I think it was too big, honestly.
Meaning too expensive to put on?
It was a really big show.
Like an airplane.
I mean, we had a gigantic, one of the biggest stages at Warner Brothers.
I couldn't.
It was a gigantic movie stage at Warner Brothers.
It looked like you were doing the MTV Awards every night.
Every night, and that was the problem, and it cost a fortune to do. And I think had it been more like Ferguson's show, small scale, I think we'd still be on.
I'm surprised Conan. I don't even know what I was going to say, but it seems like first of all, Jay boxes out Conan to come back, and they ask Conan to move time. Jay's on at 10. He wants to come back to 11:30.
It's business.
Can you push Conan back to 12? Was that right?
Yeah, pretty.
And Conan goes, no.
Yeah.
And then goes to TBS. But then what happened to Conan is exactly what Conan did to George Lopez.
Essentially, yes.
So
yes.
Are you surprised? And I'm just thinking this right now, like we're in a car talking, but like, are you surprised that Conan didn't have or is that TBS driven?
I think it's Lopez driven, honestly. I think Lopez was very big and made it look like I wanted Conan here. I went to TBS. I mean, Lopez kind of, took the brunt of all of it and glossed it all over for them.
And say it again?
I think Lopez was the one that glossed it over and made it not as big an offense as it might have been. I mean, Lopez opened his arms and,
Where's Conan's self-awareness to go, oh, I'm doing to him what Jay did to me?
It's show business. I don't think self-awareness. I don't know.
Who's in show business?
Self-awareness.
What's
Jesus
that?
Christ.
Who am I?
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, Conan's a great guy. I mean, he's a decent,
great to me.
He's a decent guy and a talented guy. And
St. Monica's, baby.
What's that?
That's
where his kids are?
That's where we all go to church as Catholics.
No kidding. You see him at church?
I have not seen him, but I've heard when he's in it, that's where he goes.
It's a nice church.
That's where they had Farley's funeral, too.
Oh, is that where his funeral was?
That's
Schwarzenegger goes there, right?
Him, not so much. I see Maria there.
Yeah.
I see Shrine. I was there for Thanksgiving once, and Father Tim said, this is right when I converted from Presbyterian to Catholicism. Right. And Father Tim goes, hey man, we're having our dinner for the less fortunate. You want to come by and help hand out food? And I was honored, yeah, because there's only 13 people to hand shit out, And then my wife was making food for our families for Christmas, and she goes, tell Father, I remember she was peeling shrimp at that vegetable sink that you saw, the two sinks.
Yeah, that's a nice
And she goes, tell Father Tim, I would love to have been there, but I have to cook for the fucking too fortunate. Fucking great. So I go
marry
there,
that girl.
And me and my son Jackie are there, and Father Tim goes, just walk around. We're already doing the food, so you could really help by collecting trash. And I'm like, you know what? This is like the mailroom at William Morris. You want to be a Catholic? Go pick up trash. Show them to do whatever it takes, right? Like, I'm new to the AA. I'll stack chairs, whatever it takes. So me and Jackie are walking around, and I remember Jackie's like 6, and he's walking from table to table going, basura, gracias. And I'm like, who the fuck taught this kid Spanish? A 6-year-old. Like, basura, gracias. De nada, senora. Basura. And then I'm like, what are you saying? He goes, basura. I go, what's that? He goes, that means garbage. And I go, okay. And he goes, yeah, just go table to table with your bag and say, basura? Like, say like a question. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. Like, now like he's teaching me. So I'm going table to table, basura, basura, and they kind of recognize me from whatever shows they watch. And they're like, oh, basura. Like, that's my name now. That's basura from Telemundo. So now we go back to Father Tim, and they're handing out peanuts. Like, they can't afford, dessert, so everybody gets, a big plate of peanuts. Oh, and I go, this is amazing. How do you say peanuts in Spanish? And Father Tim goes, cacahuates. And I go, what? He goes, cacahuates. I go, I'm not saying that.
Cacahuates.
I draw the line.
I love that.
I'll say
it's fine.
But I'm not going to walk around. I'm a grown man.
How did the kid learn Spanish?
I don't know. School, I guess.
Oh,
but he doesn't tell me how school goes.
Doesn't tell you basura.
Basura.
Yeah, I never knew that.
But I'm not going to walk around. I'm a grown-up. Walk around going, cacahuates, cacahuates, cacahuates. You sound like fucking Beverly Hills Chihuahua doing that.
It's a nice church. It's a rich church.
Rich in spirit, my friend.
Rich in cash, too, I would think. They're building that new building.
Says the man in the Golden Dome Synagogue.
I noticed stuff. My synagogue's right on your street.
I know.
Right
it's
here.
Everybody's synagogue.
It's great synagogue.
Do you really have to buy tickets to go to the temple?
Yes. I mean, they don't look like tickets. They're not like, there's nobody ripping them and giving it a receipt and a playbill.
I got a sangle. Yeah. Sangle? It's. I just know from Curb Your Enthusiasm when they had to get the tickets early.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's
yo, I got obstructed view. Who wants
it's show business. It's show business to the hilt at these things.
That's right. Are there ever do you ever get tickets to Temple and you're like, there's a lot of money for these seats.
Oh,
These
yeah.
seats aren't even that good.
Oh, yeah.
What are the good seats at
No,
Temple?
they don't give it. It's open seating. It's open seating. It's festival seating.
It's like you see in the Allman Brothers. The Allmansteins.
First come, first serve.
So what are you doing now? What are you were doing something with D.L. Hewley for a while.
I did his show. Developing shows.
Let's land together.
Let's go, man.
But what network?
I just sold a show with Michael Eisner, actually.